Hello there. I am doing something that well, rather, I'm finally actually okay with the values, and after having run enough gear raids, I'm somewhat confident in the changes I made. But I did do some updates to the late endgame gear filter I have. Um, Leveraging the essential attributes and the fact that we have 5 more rules. That being said, I am still not satisfied with it because, especially for the right side, well, A, we don't have enough rules, right? There's some like the attack healer sets that or rules that I would like to separate into weapon and torso, but that is not currently possible because I just have too many rules. Now, granted, I could remove some of my crappy 3-piece rules, like the Tier 1 crap, or Glacier, or even my Dolores rule, which, honestly, Zhao Chen is here now, so I could, but I don't want to because I like it, and I'm slightly an idiot on this banner. Point is, I did do some updates to this gear filter. The left side attack healer did not really change. The BP left side did not really change either. Speaking of, actually, this should probably have HP percentage as well. At the very least. Problem is that, again, we go back to more rules that we do not have. But what has changed? These two we can ignore. I did split this off, the heal HP, into just HP bonus and healing effects, since torsos, realistically, with those two stats, are more or less the exact stats you need. You can't really have anything else that's relevant for an HP-based healer, so here we are. Tank, well, really, we just need those two stats. Anything else is more or less bonus. And again, this is for the torso, so really, there's few options. I do not want to add stuff like speed or RR just because they're not really present, or flat def because it may potentially disqualify speed or RR depending on how they mess with variants and the override that variants have currently. So variants and ancients will force a thumbs up on gear anyways, at least for now. I don't know if that's ever going to go away, and I don't necessarily trust Moonton to be super reliable on that, so I'm at least forcing it to be present here. Weapon for tank, I do want at least 3 of these, and I necessarily want defense and HP bonus. That I did put in because simply there's a larger pool of what you can actually have here. And again, I'm not doing 4 because there potentially could be RR on a weapon depending on how they move forward with variants and other gear in the future. For an HP healer weapon, we do want, at the very least, HP bonus, healing effect, and attack speed. If we do not have at least those 3, then I consider the piece to be garbage for an HP healer. Also, there's so few HP healers in the game that it's not really important. Attack torso, for damage dealers, I only really included the essential attribute as attack because, well, that is the main stat that you're going to want on every single piece of gear. I can't put crit rate because honestly a torso with all the other 4 would be phenomenal because it's fairly easy to cap crit rate with only 4 pieces. I can't include, say, crit damage because, again, if you have the other 4, it works out. And really so on and so forth. Like, there's no other stat that I would see as mandatory on a piece besides attack. Because you could get any other combo of the 4, and I would still be fine with that. The RR torso is, well, just it is what it is. At least 4 of those. It's to just include, right? This one is to include flat attack. This one is to include rage regen. It is actually a fair point. We should have, at the very least, attack bonus. Probably should have added that in before, but anywho, here we are. BP left side, we already edited that one, and damage dealer weapon, we're back to those. So that's roughly what we changed here. Essentially, the changes are splitting the healer HP stuff that were flagging way too many pieces combined with tank. This actually sold off. I ran a test, it sold off solid 10 to 20% of the pieces that I was keeping that fit the bill. So it's a sizable reduction. And then the split, some of the mandatory stats that were added to some of the other rules. I did add, this was already present, so this was actually not added, but tank regen, really just 2 of these with one of the main stats, kind of self-explanatory. Tank speed, same concept. Def damage, I did not really add anything here. We want the primary attribute to be def, and then the rest, really who cares? We still don't have a viable, good defense-based champion for damage, so I'm not worrying about that too much for now. Crowd control is one of the rules that honestly you probably could just drop. This could be included within the healer rules. I like keeping it separate because if I get a piece that rolls gold on rage regen and attack speed and has utterly random stats on everything else, including the primary, then I do not care. That being said, this is also one of the rules where I really, 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 really wish Moonton gave us an option to specify if it was a ring, a bangle, or an amulet. Because I don't want to keep anything that, and this is the problem that I have with this rule, really, but I don't want to keep anything that's an amulet or a ring that doesn't have an RR or attack speed as main. And this rule is killing it all because it's including them all. But I have no good way of forcing this. So, Moonton, please, can we just get something that specifies, because this rule would only apply to bangles, ideally. But anywho, moving on, tanky damage really didn't change. HP percent bonus, and then, the four underlying stats here for damage. BP in general has not really changed, besides the fact that I do want, on any of those pieces, at the very least, attack, crit rate, crit damage, and attack speed. Because, well, that's where most of the BP is going to be coming from anyways. The actual 4th substat doesn't really matter if it's defense, HP, or flat attack. All 3 are fairly valuable for different champions, but those 4 need to be on a piece to make it work. Healer, attack, again, we want at the very least 3 different stats on a piece for a attack-based healer. We want attack bonus, we want healing effect, we want attack speed. If we can get HP bonus, flat attack, rage regen, any of the others, that's great, but we need those 3. Again, tank, for a flat rule at least, we want at the very least once more HP bonus and def bonus. These rules were actually keeping some of the more crummy ones that didn't necessarily have everything. Dolores is just my Dolores rule. Don't question it. It's a slightly stupid rule, but hey, at least now I can add attack bonus and flat attack, so it somewhat minimizes what we're going to keep, but still. Damage dealer. Well, damage dealer is another where we want at the very least these 4 stats. If they're not there, and we don't want to keep an attack bonus main with attack, HP bonus, and rage regen, which it was doing before. And there wasn't really a good way to fully prevent that before, but now there is, so all the better. Healer HP, once more we want HP bonus, healing effect, and attack speed, and, whatever else comes with it, good. If nothing does, well, so be it. Glacier tank, really we want at the very least attack bonus and HP bonus, so that was added. This cut down a little bit on what was kept, and again, ideally we want some of the others, but the mandatory ones are these 2, otherwise that set is useless. Same concept for glacier damage. And tier 1 crap really just has attack bonus, crit rate, and attack speed. I would add crit damage, but I can only have... I can't have more essential attributes than the required number of secondary attributes, which seems incredibly stupid considering that the essential attributes apply to the primary attributes. So I don't really know what the hell they were thinking there, but that is a limitation of the game. So I don't really have a good way to circumvent that. Anyway, the code is this. I may eventually look into my early endgame and mid-game filters, but the reality is that it's such a pain to rename all the rules and remember what they are that I eventually, if I stop twiddling my thumbs and I actually get my Forerunner account moving along and I can use codes on that one, then I may actually look into this a bit more and mess with the filters there. But for now, I have not updated the other two. Mainly because this is the one I use, so here we are. But yeah, this is what I've been using for quite a bit of runs now, and some forging. I didn't see anything off with it. I ran like 400 gear dungeons on another account, checked most of the gear, seemed to make sense, ran it on a stash of gear that was not sorted because someone didn't sort their gear for some reason. It also made sense in terms of what it was removing and keeping. And then I personally ran a bunch of gear raids, and once more, it seems to mostly make sense, and nothing seems buggy with the essential attributes here. Now, if you do notice anything off with the filter, please do give a heads up immediately so I can fix that, take down this video, and send in, an updated one that does things correctly. Anywho, that's about it. So cheers, and you have a nice one.